Kenya, Africa. A mass population of 45 million people. 46% of these inhabitants are currently in extreme poverty without any clean water to drink and barely any food to keep them alive. In this short documentary, we go over the main issues Kenya has to struggle with each day.
Our journey begins way back in the 1920s, when the British came to Kenya to claim the land for resources and profit. Increase in conquered land equals an increase in power, which is a contributing factor in Britain's actions. Great Britain saw Kenya as a potential source of materials and wealth. It also had areas that had the perfect climate and soil for European settlement and farming. These sort of economic factors made Kenya an attractive place for the British.
One of the main reasons why the British wanted to colonize Kenya in the first place was to receive more prestige in their competition against other European countries. They saw this as an easy way to gain recognition and power without having to worry about the Africans claiming war against them, since they did not have the weapons or enough men.
As the British moved in to colonize Kenya, they began to abuse their power by inflicting negative enforcements on the land and people, taking away much of their limited food and water, torturing and even killing uncooperative families. This was not their original intention, but as Kenya entered a state of emergency, more and more problems arose. This put a strain on Britain, causing them to react irrationally. The British provided no medicine or any sort of aid when the Kenyans needed it. The Kenyans struggled with dirty water, causing cholera. Hopeless and powerless, the Kenyans must limit their water and food consumption before they have no family left.
As years passed, Kenyans grew weaker as people and as a nation. Through generations of malnourishment, the human body can only get worse. Due to dirty water, disease was inevitable. Since there is little money accessible to many people of the nation, medicine was only imaginable to them. Through poor treatment, Strong fought the Kenyans to live together. As British rule loosened, they began to leave Kenya slowly, leaving their land with empty fields. As far as the eye could see, nothing but empty land, dirty water, mud, and bloodshed.
Eventually, Kenya gained their independence in 1963. However, it did not solve their water crisis. Still today, Kenyans fight the never-ending battle of finding a way to clean water to drink. As of now, approximately 46% of Kenya's population is in poverty. 46% of 36.6 million is roughly around 17.2 million people. This number will keep increasing each year as the population increases by 2.6% each year.
These water shortages not only affect their health, but it affects crops and agriculture in Africa's plains, resulting in no vegetation, which then leads to a shortage in food for the people of Kenya. Other problems include Kenya's water basins. A big part of Kenya's water shortages is the result of the water basins not occupying a big enough area. This leaves most of the population without any fresh water. With all the unhealthy water everyone is consuming, bacteria and water pathogens are getting into people's systems and causing diseases like cholera. Cholera causes severe diarrhea and vomiting, which can kill you over time by dehydration or even in a matter of hours. As of 2015, there hasn't been any serious outbreaks of the disease. However, several people are getting this disease each and every day. There have been 7,000 cases of people with cholera since 2015, and there have been more or less 200 deaths so far.
As a nation, Canada has been involved in helping out Kenya with food and clean water to drink. Since 1984, and during this time, an organization called Save the Children Canada, also known as STCC, has changed their focus as needs have changed. The STCC focus on education, child protection, preventing HIV and AIDS, economic empowerment, youth livelihoods, and most emergency responses. Our participatory approach keeps us in close contact with the children, local governments, and community-based organizations. Our projects in Kenya often include the overlapping of theme gender equality and gender protection.
The real question is, how can Canada help Kenya? Well, that's a simple question with a complicated answer. There are many things we Canadians take for granted, like our clean and accessible water, but we cannot simply send water in a large container. This is a short-term solution. A better alternative would be to get highly educated geologists to figure out what there is clean water underground in Canada. Then, it is as simple as building a well that is made of sturdy materials that will last.
Of course, the more of these wells we build, the more Kenyans can grow together as a nation. But giving them water doesn't solve problems that have to do with disease, hunger, poverty, and unfair treatment such as abuse and getting no education. Fixing these problems, for the most part, are out of our reach. For example, there will always be abusive people hurting the weaker in a couple of different ways, like physical, emotional, spiritual, and financially. We Canadians could send emergency medicine using military drop pods, but what happens when a new sickness arises and we have no cure? How do we help then?
And that's when you come in. Donate money to Make-A-Wish Foundation so we can help these less fortunate people have a better life. Together, and in God's presence, you can achieve anything with the right teamwork and leadership.